That was when the Olympic torch procession swept wetly through Morecambe and Blackpool. On the 28th, Kendal and many other places in South Lakeland were hit by flash floods. This was not only the wettest June, but the wettest April to June for over 100 years. And just in case anyone had any thoughts of an Indian summer, here's September the 26th, in Croston again. More than a month's rain in 2 days. In October, Hurricane Sandy.
Wouldn't have been able to drive down here back on June the 22nd.
That was the day of the first great flood of the summer in Croston. 70 homes inundated. Many were on Town Road. I'm on my way to see John Twin, who back then allowed in the cameras. He had to move out for 13 weeks.
Hello. see you. Can I come in?
Of course you can, look.
Well, I have to say, this looks immaculate.
It does now, but in June after the flood it wasn't. Total devastation, I'm afraid. The walls had to be knocked back all the way, all the plaster off. The furniture had to be completely replaced. The smell, because it was sewage, black water, just everywhere. It was terrible.
It filled the garden too.
Well, this is our garden that we woke up on the morning of the flood, and it was about 3 foot deep in flood water. Got a new shed, the old one had to go. All the plants you can see are basically new because we lost all those, and the lawn. The day we moved back in, we got a phone call to say the flood alert was on yet again.
That was the flood of September the 26th. Now, 2 floods in 3 months, and a kitchen and garden full of sewage focuses the mind. John has become an anti-flood campaigner. At the bottom of his garden lurks his chief adversary.
Well, over this wall we have the River Yarrow, which is normally a great river, but when there's a lot of rain coupled with a high tide, it becomes not so great. These walls that you can see were actually replaced after the 1987 flood, but this time the flood came up around the side of the walls and up through the ground.
Here's a startling statistic from the National Flood Forum. 20 years ago, 20% of insurance claims after flooding were for standing water. Now it's 80%. That suggests we're getting more flash floods.
The amount of development that's gone on throughout the whole of the Yarra Valley, places like Buckshaw Village, the runoff from those properties, that's the water that comes off the roofs and the roads and the concrete drives, goes directly into the river instead of soaking in like it used to do. And that means that the river level is really getting higher on a more regular basis. The antiquated sewage systems that we've got can't take it. They weren't built for it.
The drains were designed to spew water straight into the river through metal flaps. The problem is, with more rain and more runoff, the river gets so high it keeps the flaps pushed shut, and water can't escape.
So we really need a rethink of how we look at getting rid of excess water.
John's plan? A small dam upstream to restrict the river's flow when there's too much rain.
If the amount of rainfall continues to increase, you're going to have to think about fundamental things like redesigning the flow of rivers.
Absolutely. What we need to do is create a floodplain upstream. This will prevent the river levels being so high at the time of flood, and that way prevent it happening again.